All right, so Casino Jack is directed by George Hickenlooper. I hope that's right.
We'll get an email if it isn't.
His only other directorial I could find that was any big thing was Factory Girl with I can't even remember his name, Andy Warhol movie. It stars Kevin Spacey, Barry Pepper, and John Lovitz. It's about Kevin Spacey is a lobbyist for Native Americans, and he takes their money to get whatever lobbyists do, bribe senators and all the such to get laws passed so their clients are rich. Just follows his pseudo-corrupt life, jumping between scamming the Indians out of money and doing his own ventures with the extra money, which run him really thin, which then gets him involved with FBI, and it becomes this really big political game. And I don't know, I don't think I'm missing anything off of that.
Not really.
It was a pretty decent movie. The problem with these kinds of movies is Thank You for Smoking kind of put a really big high bar on this.
See, that's actually what I was thinking. When I was seeing it, I was actually really thinking similar lines. I'm going, this is a lot like Thank You for Smoking, except it doesn't have Aaron Eckhart or that level of wittiness with like the Mob Squad and, you know, all of the wonderful jokes that we can't quite say on the air here. And it kind of reminded me a lot of that.
Yeah, I just didn't think it was catchy enough. So there's definitely this, it loses something where it's, you know, it's a great character piece. I mean, Kevin Spacey does awesome in it. He plays the character well. The characters are interesting, but the actual overall plot is kind of just a weird political. What do I have here? It's politics and corruption. I mean, nothing really new. I mean, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington got it better than this movie when it comes to corrupt senators and stuff. And that was the biggest drawback for this movie. I gave it a C-, mostly because I was kind of bored through this. I mean, it's supposed to be an exciting adventure of this guy and how he gets his money and what he does with it. And there's a couple Italian mob bosses, which is what John Lovitz's character is. He's kind of just this fall guy mob boss for a casino boat thing. And he does all right playing a gross guy that's supposed to be a part of the mob. And other than that, I don't know if John Lovitz's acting career is going to be revitalized or anything.
Well, I kind of don't see it being revitalized anyway. I think it's, you know, more necrophilia at this point than resuscitation. So.
All right. So my biggest flaw with this one was there was no sizzle, but still well acted. So what did you give it?
I gave it a C because to me it kind of feels as if they kind of did something like this where Kevin Spacey did a movie called Recount for HBO.
Oh, yeah.
And to me, it just kind of feels like he's doing films that are kind of like, oh, you know, you don't know this story or this story, and I'm going to bring it to you. And, you know, you see Kevin Spacey, and you're like, you've done awesome. You've got K-Pax, Seven, all these, you know, roles he's done really well in, and you're kind of disappointed by it, you know, because like you said, Thank You for Smoking, and I said Thank You for Smoking has done this better. They're showing you what lobbyists do, everything. And so I kind of gave it a C. While it's a very, you know, there's kind of like a little bit of intrigue with it, but there's not enough to keep you entertained.
Yeah, it's like watching something that would be good in government class, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, okay, I've met a lobbyist. I have no idea what it is. They even give you the definition at the beginning because they're pretty sure their audience has no clue what a lobbyist is.
I found that kind of funny because I'm like, you know, the people that you would assume that would be watching this would be the kind that'd sit back with their monocle and going, quite, I remember that, yes. But, you know, so they wouldn't know what a lobbyist is, but...
Yeah. I think the problem with this is, you know, it's a true story, and so they're trying to stick with the true story. The problem is I bet the true story, you know, it's interesting because there's all this political scandal and stuff like that, but I guess they didn't focus enough on what made that story interesting. They just kind of were like, well, this is Kevin Spacey's character, and we're going to stick with him, and we're going to follow him through his little life story, and all the stuff that kind of crashes down around him make us sympathize with him, but nothing really makes you go, well, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, I think, where they needed to Hollywood up this movie.
They could have hired Michael Bay to do the directions. There would have been explosions at the casino for no apparent reason. Like Blackjack. Someone's like, and Blackjack, and pow! Table would have exploded, and there's like, big winner, chicken dinner.
Explosions do make everything better.
Exactly.
All right, so our next movie.